Welcome to Street Psychology Podcast. Today I have my guest, Dallas Collis. He's going to talk about resilience, overcoming challenges in his life, and giving us an idea of how to move forward.
Let me start an introduction by asking for an agreement between us.
Okay.
Every human being on the planet wishes to arrive at the same destination. Every single person wants the same thing out of life, and that is a peaceful heart, calm, love, happiness. And that's the simplicity of every human experience. We desire to be happy. Could you agree with that?
Absolutely.
I've never met a human being who doesn't agree with that. And yet we think we need some meaning or purpose to live life. We know it. We all know it. It's to be happy, to be loving, to be beautiful creatures that we are. That is the meaning. That is the purpose. So if it is that simple, what's in the way? And what's in the way is our story. You are a story. I'm a story. If we met face to face in person and I said, "Nice to meet you, LaSylvia, tell me something about yourself," you would begin telling me a bit of your story. But you're not telling me about this human, loving, happy human being that you naturally are and that we all seek. What you're telling me about is a story about that person. And this is our whole difficulty, our whole struggle in all of our lives is our particular story. And just like everybody else, mine has trauma. It has struggle, emotional baggage that we carry with us in our life. I came out of my childhood bullied and abused psychologically, physically. I came out of my childhood knowing I was not good enough. I was not smart enough, not worthy. I didn't fit into the game. I wasn't going to win the game. I was a failure. This is what I learned from my childhood. And everybody gets it in different degrees. Everybody carries different levels of pain and suffering inside. But we all have some degree of it. And I think it's probably birth itself is the original trauma, being thrown into this world. It creates a basement of fear and insecurity. And these elements, fear and insecurity, is what we deal with our entire life. All get the addiction of blame at some point. It's usually the first addiction we ever have. I blamed school. I blamed teachers. I blamed the church. I blamed Boy Scout leaders and summer camp counselors. Then I blamed friends. Then I blamed my boss. Then I blamed my wife. I blame the weather some days. I blame the environment. I blame the culture. I blame the government. And some people live their entire life blaming the exterior world, the outside world, for everything that makes them feel uncomfortable. And that's why I call it an addiction, because all addiction, it's a defense to keep me safe. If I'm not responsible, I can feel okay. It's not my fault. I'm all right. Somehow I'll get through because it wasn't my fault. And the reason we do this act is because we know inside it is our fault. We have a culture that's scared to death of blaming the victim. I am my victim. I am my responsibility. This is the fear none of us want to see. We want to know it's a problem. A doctor told me there's something wrong with me. It's not my fault. These people treated me badly. It's not my fault. They hurt me, so I'm traumatized. It's not my fault. Everything is an externalizing of the world to keep it away from who? Me. To keep myself safe. And this is the deceptive ego. Everything we learn after birth is externalizing our life, that somehow it's the world out there, And every chapter, everything we learn, everything we're taught, everything we experience becomes a paragraph and then a chapter of our story. And we reach a certain moment in life where suddenly we identify as the story. Oh, this is who I am. I am this person who was hurt by them. I am this person who learned these things in school. I am this person who has struggled with this, succeeded here, failed there. And we build up these blocks until that's who I am. And what we've done is externalized our true self. Everyone alive looks into the face of a newborn baby. The baby is placed on its mother's chest in a nice warm blanket, and the baby calms down. We look in its face, and we all see the same thing. We see beauty, love, and happiness. We see the baby before a story, just as a human life that is beautiful, that is loving, and that is happy. My mother died 4 or 5 months ago now. 2 hours before she died, I looked in her face, and what do you think I saw? The same as the baby. I saw beauty, I saw love, and I felt happiness, the experience, because that's all we are. Everything else, when I put in grief and sadness and loss, this is a creation of a story. That's attachment. I attached to a trauma that happened 50 years ago. How would it get here today? How did it travel 50 years to be with me? I'm the one who gave it meaning, who created the feeling, and then put it in a bag on my shoulder and walked with it for 50 years. I'm the one that kept it alive. It can't stay alive if I didn't pay attention to it. Most of our memories vanish into the past and we forget them. Why? Because we don't pay attention. You don't know what you had for breakfast 3 years ago on a Tuesday morning. You couldn't tell me, but it happened. It was real. Like any other event in your life, it took place. But you don't remember because you didn't pack it with you. You didn't make it important. You didn't decide what the meaning was. You didn't inflate the feeling, whether it's hurtful, helpful, happy, sad. That's all you. So we create these things. We carry them in a story we believe because we are creatures of the past. Everything we know right now in this moment comes from yesterday. Our entire life is built on yesterdays. And that's how we learn everything. That's how we know to speak, to feed ourselves, to clean up, to do our job. Everything is learned yesterday. And we carry it with us now. So what does this have to do with this whole story? I packed a bag so full of pain and anguish that I had to move from blame to alcohol. I needed a stronger drug to medicate against the pain. Then I needed drugs to add to the alcohol. Then I found a partner who was equally damaged, traumatized, alcoholic, and drug addicted. And so you enable and work together to try and fight your pain. And there we are with 25 years of marriage, a nice house, a business, 2 beautiful children, cars in the driveway, vacations. How normal could we look to the outside world, to the story? But under the roof of that house is, of course, a war zone. It's a terrible, toxic place to live. There's 2 people so badly damaged they can barely survive. They're violent, angry, terrible situation. But we throw on the mask of our identity and walk out in the world and play the game, play the part, get on stage. And I run my business and we're successful. And we go party with friends and we're the happy couple. We have all these masks to keep us going. They're all addictive processes. They have nothing to do with reality. And we pretend identity is some strong, needed human thing. It's ridiculous. It's a fabrication, an illusion. Identity isn't real. You can't self-identify. The voice that says to you, you're a dummy because you did something wrong, is the same place that's saying this is your identity. It's an illusion so that you can play in the story, so you can stay on the stage and feel like you belong to your tribe, your group, your friends, whoever, because it fits you in to the story. And we decide this is the truth of us. Now, I get really lucky. Most people don't get this lucky. I wake up one morning, 3 months into a pandemic, and I have cancer. What a fabulous day. In 12 months to the day, I go through surgery and cancer treatment. I come home, my wife and I split. I lose my house, my wife, my family, my business. 12 months to the day, I wake up the one morning and I'm suicidal and still alcoholic. What a fabulous year. I could not be a luckier human being because it cracked open the door. Because my story was burned to the ground. The person I thought I was in ruin, that person is dead. So what am I? And now for most people, this is the point of departure that you and I may have. Because we'll use the word resilience, rebuilding, struggle, determination, to get back on your feet and rebuild your life. I say bullshit. I did the opposite of all that. I wasn't resilient. I didn't go back to my story. I don't want to recover my story, recover my past, find that strong person. That's a self that was a fabrication. And people say, oh, you have to believe in yourself, be determined, disciplined. And I say to the people I work with, I say, do not believe in yourself. Because the self you're believing in is a story you believe in. One day I'm watching a podcast. They were talking about consciousness. Woo, silly, fluffy, spiritual stuff. I'm making dinner, and in the background, the man on the podcast says this one line. And I literally fall to my knees, like in a Hollywood movie, which I never believed was real. I literally felt that bolt of lightning go through my head. And the man said, show me yesterday. That was it. Our entire existence is yesterday. We believe our stories, our history, our memories, our experiences. When he said, show me yesterday, my rational mind stepped up and said, hold it a second. What is yesterday? Where is it? I can't go over here to a filing cabinet, pull it out and go, look, LaSylvia, here's yesterday. What do you think? It's not reality. Where is it? Why isn't it a physical thing? Yesterday I was in my home. Yesterday I went for a walk. What happened to it? I'm here right now today. We're sharing our physical existence. But if yesterday is only a memory, only something I believe in, how could just believing a story take me to the edge of suicide? How does it take people to suicide? How does my struggle, stress, anxiety, trauma build up inside my body until it is expressed physically by cancer or heart disease or diabetes? How is this possible? Just because we believe a story and that story can kill us? I'm the leader of the country. If I can convince you, my good citizen, that your neighbor is evil, your neighbor's buying guns, your neighbor wants you dead, your neighbor hates your way of life, they hate your freedom, they want to take it away, And if I can scare you enough with that story, you're willing to join my army and go kill your brothers and sisters for freedom. It's a story. Look around the world at the collective story mind of all of us together in fear and insecurity. And you've got people being killed every day because we're afraid, because we're not secure. This is a story we believe. 8 billion people in the world are struggling to be happy. And they're lost in a story of fear and insecurity. And so no wonder we are so confused and life is so difficult to us. Because the reality of the love, the beauty, and the happiness has been supplanted by the story. And so we believe the story's true, and we don't believe that we are simply love, beauty, and happiness. Because that's too simple. It couldn't be true. We're raised as children to see the complexity, to strive for achievement, get to the next grade, pass the test, graduate, go on to college, get a car, get a good job, find a wife, get a house, have children. It's constant achievement. To what end? Retire? Rest? Be happy? What an incredible game we've bought into. We are raised on stories. We got told bedtime stories by our parents. We learn that story is our truth. We go to movies and they make us cry. How is that possible? Rationally, it's just a movie. Because we are emotionally entwined in story, in the belief of story. And we believe religious stories. We believe economic stories. We believe health stories. Millions of people today in talk therapy, on psychoactive drugs for mental conditions. Young people like never before suffering mental illness and disorders by the dozens. These are creations of stories. They're not a reality. I don't believe any of it is real. We buy into it. The Me Too movement wasn't just women and rape. It is psychology. I've watched the last 20 years or 15 years online. I've been diagnosed with this anxiety disorder. Oh, me too. Oh, me too. I have this trauma. My inner child is wrong. Oh, me too. And it's exploding in a psychological fragility that we're creating around the world. And at the same time, we've lost the foundation of leaders that were honest and strong. We now see they're lying, manipulating, and we're losing the foundations of our belief in these stories. And that's what's feeding all this psychological fragility. And we need to return to understand you are the beauty, love, and happiness that you need to be. You don't achieve anything. You're here already. Right now, today, you and I are right here. There's no problem. You're not right now going, oh, tomorrow I've got to do this. Oh, what if it goes wrong? Oh, I wonder what's going to happen. Right now, you're not going, oh, yesterday I screwed up. I wonder if they're mad at me. You're just here. We have to get out of the story of yesterday and tomorrow, the imagined, and live in reality. Right here, right now. Two human beings. They're loving each other right now. They're sharing with each other right now. That's all we have to do. That's my story. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, that is your story. And like you said, this hasn't always been your story, right?
No.
You came into this realization of answering the fundamental question about life is life. And it sounds like for me, you're saying life is living in every moment, every single day, in that moment.
Yeah.
Experiencing. Yeah.
All the beauty is now. It's nowhere else. When you stand at the edge of the ocean and feel the awe of the smell of the salt in the air, the wind, the sound of the waves, the earth breathing in your face. That is the beauty. Looking in that child's face is the beauty then, that moment. That is us. No one looks in another human being's face and goes, hate, destruction. No, we have to be taught that. We have to take that story and then believe it. I drank with a friend for 15 years every day after work at the same pub. I went my way, my life of destruction in my 1 year of collapse. He went another way. He ended up on the streets, homeless, fentanyl addicted, one of those zombies bent over, standing on the side of the road. I assumed he was dead and gone. I'm sure he assumed the same as me. One day I walk into a coffee shop just 8 months ago or so, and there he is sitting in the corner, reading a book, enjoying his coffee, just as normal can be, and I'm just shocked. And I just rush over and, oh my God, tell me the story. What happened to you? And so he tells me a story that a street preacher that came by all the time, talking to people, suddenly clicked with him. He got interested. He started to listen. He went to meetings. He ended up going to the church. His addiction vanished. His disorders melted away. And he would say, I was saved. And we've heard this story a million times. People are saved by religion. I turned this and I realized we are saved in that instance by a better story. The story he believed was killing him. Was so much pain, he fell into the drugs, disordered mind, all the problems. He found a story that said, you're accepted, you're loved, your sins can vanish. He believes the story, and what happens? Guess what? We are believers. Now, I'm not trying to say religion isn't important because it's just a story. The story that saves you is the most important story. Our beliefs are incredibly important, but they cause as many problems as they can cure. And we live in a world of materialism where we're told that rational, truth, all these things are the way to live, but no one lives based on their brain saying it's true. We live on the mind of our story that we believe is true. This is the emotion, the feeling, and the incredible temperaments that we express with one another, the struggling, the pushing, the pulling, the arguing, the fighting. This is all in belief of story. And I say, why have an identity? Why have a story? Why not just be that loving, beautiful human being and live your life and enjoy every damn day? Because you can. And people say it's unrealistic. And I know the culture is so strong against our happiness. Yes, against our happiness. LaSylvia, let's say tonight I'm going to a hall to speak to 500 people. I walk out on stage and I say, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dallas Collis. I was badly abused as a child, traumatized. I carried terrible anger and pain for years. I fell into addiction. I was not a good human being, and my life crumbled to the ground. I went through cancer. I lost my wife, my business, my home, my family. I was suicidal. And then I started to turn it around. I got strong. I found the courage to stand back up on my feet and recapture my life and be powerful. I'm here today to share it with you, to tell you that we can all do better. And the crowd is clapping and they're patting me on the back for my courage and my strength. Now, LaSylvia, I walk out on that stage instead and I say, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dallas Collis. I have never been traumatized. I've never been hurt. I'm not angry or sad. I've never had a problem in my life. No struggle I couldn't walk through. because my life is just happiness. It's love and it's beauty and kindness. And I enjoy every single day of my life without a problem. And everyone in that crowd doesn't pat me on the back. They all go, "Oh my God, what a weirdo. This guy is completely unrealistic. He's off his rocker." If I am broken, but I am fighting to heal, I am held up strong. If I am happy and have nothing to heal, there's something wrong with me. What a strange culture we have created. And here's a deeper point: there is no healing. No one can heal from their story. You can't heal from your trauma. It happened 50 years ago. It was real. You can't go back in time. You can't heal it. You can only leave it. You can only leave it behind. You can only stop carrying it with you. You can only walk away from the damage that is the belief of your story. The only escape is leaving our stories, either for a better story or for no story at all.
I agree. If you go out and you're saying, "I'm happy, I don't have anything to heal, I don't really have any issues, I've already worked through those," or however you want to say it, the first thing people are going to say is maybe that person's crazy. But after that, you're also going to have a group of people who are curious about how did you get to that point?
I thought I was crazy.
Okay.
I would sit here and go, I don't have a problem. I don't have a worry. I don't have a care or concern in the world. How could I be this happy? This isn't normal. So I went through that process of trying to even understand, how could I be this happy? How could all that carnage, that destruction behind me in that story be gone? How is this possible? And I had to work through that. And that brings you to that process of trying to understand. I don't entertain memory almost ever. I almost never think about yesterday, my past, my history. That's a huge step in the right direction. Because you think about it, you meet with friends, and what's the conversation? It's all the conversation is what has happened, the past, or what they're planning to do, the future. Almost none of it is just being right here with each other and just saying, "Oh, I love being here with you guys. Let's just soak in this time." Because that's all real life is. But it would become boring. The story is a drama. So we talk about yesterday and what happened and the struggles and the fight. And we talk about tomorrow. We are constantly escaping the one place that the love and beauty and happiness resides, which is right here, right now. And we're constantly falling into memories of the past or imagined tomorrows, where all the fear and insecurity resides. And then we wonder why it's so hard. And the simplicity, I think, is what makes it so difficult. Our whole life, our look at the world, we are told since we are children, life is hard. It's a struggle. You've got to work hard. You've got to struggle and fight for everything you want. We are taught this complex, difficult world around us. And yet the reality, in every moment where we find that beauty, love, and happiness, is that just holding hands with someone quietly. They're in these simplistic moments that we feel absolute best and happiest. That is the sign. It's knocking on the door for everyone. Be here. Be happy. Don't go there. Don't spend your time there. So one of the things I did to help me get there, I took this one idea. The idea in AA is one day at a time. We've all heard this. If you can do it today, one day, you can do it another day. So I took my whole life and said, what if my whole life was one day? We sleep for 8 hours, so we're awake for 16 hours. We are consciously awake for 16 hours. That is a day. I said to myself, what if I only ever live one day? Because it turns out you do only ever live one day. You may get lucky and you get to repeat it again tomorrow, but you only live one day. Could I eat better? Yeah, I could do it for one day. Could I phone a family member or friend, tell them I love them? Just one day. Yeah, I could probably do that. Could I put 4 hours of really good, attentive work in to keeping clothes on my back, a roof over my head, food in my belly? Yeah, I could do that. I could pay real attention and work hard. I could do that for one day. Could I go out for a 30-minute walk and get some air and feel good physically? Yeah, I could probably do that. In 16 hours, I could put out 30 minutes. Yeah. Every little piece of our life happens in one day. If we can concentrate to stay awake, in attention, not in memory, not in imagination, but being attentive to our day, our whole life works. It's not complicated. It's habits and routines that we do without thinking, without being in attention, is where we live most of our life. LaSylvia ends a very hard day at work, jumps in her car, drives home, walks inside, slaps the keys down on the counter, and the sound of the keys hitting on the counter wakes Sylvia up. She looks around and goes, I don't even remember driving home. I don't remember anything about that drive. People walk through most of their lives in that state of sleep waking, I call it. It's a daydreaming because life becomes so simple in the story. We're not paying attention. And so I just eat crappy food because it makes me feel good right then. I watch crappy stuff in movies because it makes me feel good right. I don't want to go for a walk. That means having to do something. I don't want to do that. We fall into these habits and routines that make us lazy, that make us worry, that make us fearful and insecure without even trying. And the voice in our head is chattering away. Oh, you don't want to do that. Oh, you don't want to do that. All the time. That voice disappears when you're in attention. It can't speak to you because you are awake. One day at a time. Just work at the little pieces of your life. One day at a time. Don't worry about tomorrow. It's great to have goals, but to think you're going to achieve something through the goal is wrong. The doing of the work to achieve the goal is the beauty of life. It's not when I reach the goal, I'll be happy. That's the disorder. That's the confusion. That's the pain right there. No, you're happy doing the work to achieve the goal. Not happy once you get there. The ordering is happy doing. Not happy to become something, to reach something, to buy something. I'll be happy when you love me. I'll be happy when I'm driving that car. I'll be happy when I'm in that house. I'll be happy when they don't hurt me. I'll be happy when... That's the disorder. I'm happy right now, so I am free to do anything, to reach any goal, to overcome any obstacle, because I'm doing it here, now. And there's no problem here now. The problem is something I create tomorrow. The great secret is nothing has ever happened to me except for me. And when you understand that, your whole life changes. As soon as you remove blame, the outside world, you become responsible, radically responsible for yourself. And as soon as that happens, there is no outside world to hurt you. That's the fantasy. That's blaming. That's the addiction. That is all the suffering in the whole planet, is that someone else is responsible. Someone else is in charge. Someone else has forced me to do this. Someone else is ruling me. No. As soon as you understand everything that happens to you is you, freedom. Unbelievable freedom. Because As we started our conversation today, the freedom we seek is this happiness, this calm, peaceful existence. That is what you are. When you take away the blame, when you take away someone else's responsibility, you are that. Is it easy? No, of course not. But life isn't supposed to be easy. One of the problems with the psychological fragility, it comes from an idea of security, insurance. I need to be protected. Your words are violence. I need to be seen. I need to be understood. All these things are an external. You're going to make me better. If LaSylvia loves me, I'm going to be happy. If she takes the love away, I'm heartbroken. These are the illusions we create and we attach to and we hurt ourselves with. You can't hurt me by what you say or whether you love me or not. I do that by the meaning I create. No other human being has a meaning to me until I create the meaning. We are both made of love and we can share the love. So it can't be taken, stolen, created. It exists, as each of us does. We are love, we are beauty, we are happiness. We can share that with the world and ourselves and each other, or we can be afraid and fight and push it away and hope that you help me. I don't need help. No one does. That's fear and insecurity, that we are not whole, that we're not complete, that we're not good enough. You're good enough. You're the winner. The most important person on planet Earth is LaSylvia Brown. There is no one close to being as important as you, because if you weren't here, there wouldn't be a planet Earth. There wouldn't be love, happiness, beauty. It wouldn't exist because you're not here. And so you're the most important person on the planet. Everyone is that same beautiful love, happiness, important being, unique to their own expression of that. Everything else is an imagined story of fear and insecurity. Believe your beauty, your love, and your happiness. Your true self, not your story self. Your true, beautiful, universal mind, not your story mind.
I understand this part of your story is it sounds like when you started to make that change and that realization that happened, it was after you woke up, you'd lost everything. You were diagnosed with cancer. We were already in the pandemic. But
Yeah,
then on top of that, everything came falling down. That's when you really woke up.
absolutely.
So I had a professor who talked about the terror management theory. It's when people are faced with death, everything changes. They become better, they see things more clearly. And you were
Absolutely.
faced with death in that moment.
Mystics and sages and gurus have spoken for centuries about suffering, that
Mhm.
pain and suffering is the human condition, and that you can't awaken without suffering. And it appears to be true because, just as your professor said, that terror wakens so many people, maybe not to the extent that I'm talking about here today, but I think that suffering also works in slow motion. And what I mean is, talk to people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, and you will find some very common expressions of all that stuff I thought was so important really wasn't. It's the adage no one on their deathbed says, I wish I spent more time at the office. Those are subtle little pieces of waking because they're awakening to all that life that was actually a slow, subtle suffering of not being awake. This is why, as people get old and closer to death, they begin to see a clearer picture of life. There's very few 80-year-olds going, oh, I really want a Lambo. I really want a hot chick and a big house. Why? They're still alive. Why wouldn't they want the same things if these goals and dreams were our nature? It's because I don't believe they are our nature. They are the struggle. And if you're hit with a big enough struggle early enough, you'll wake up. Maybe I'm just waking up earlier than the 90-year-old. So it's interesting to look at. Is it the suffering in a big way? Is it slow burn of suffering that leads us to the same place anyway? And if we all want to be happy, why aren't we? What's in the way? This journey, this story, this slow burn of suffering, why are we doing it? Because I found I'm not in the story anymore. And I'm completely at ease and happy. So now I'm like, the only reason I'm here, I want you to wake up. I want you to see this isn't worth it. I want you to see the story is fooling us into thinking we have to go through all this stuff to get there. We don't. So is that an argument against the suffering? In a way it is. And we haven't found the other way yet. Was that what religions have been about for thousands of years? All prophets, Messiah, whoever brought the message, they brought it to wake up now. None of them brought it to say you have to suffer. I often point out Jesus' disciples came to him and said, how do we reach your level? Goodness, of greatness, of humanity, of all this love, this beauty, this kindness. And Jesus didn't say, you need to buy the car, get the house, get the wife, do all this stuff. Jesus simply said, as almost every sage throughout history has said, you are the light of the world. What does that mean? That means you are the awakened. So do it. Not you have to suffer for the next 50 years, and on your retirement, you may begin to wake up. He doesn't say that. And no sage ever has. They've said you're already here. You just need to open your eyes and see it. You're watching a movie over here you call the story of your life. You need to bring your focus to attention to here and now and say, oh, I'm not a movie. I'm not a drama. I'm just this beautiful, loving, happy human being.
Yeah, because we absolutely put a lot of pressure on ourselves.
Our identity is a performance. Our identity is masks we put on. Our identity is for others. It's not for us. We've gotten confused. Our identity is the costume, is the mask. And we get on stage and we perform. We are our own Netflix miniseries. And we each know the same show is going to happen over and over again. We'll just change some characters, change some scenery, change the obstacle. But really, it's the same story over and over again. And we keep falling into the same trap and feel the same pains and the same struggle. And believing we have to overcome the hero's journey. Every Hollywood movie is made of the same fabric. And we watch the story over, and it keeps us in this prison. And we're sitting in the cell with the keys in our hand, and we don't realize. The keys are wake up. Leave the theater. You don't need to be watching that movie. But we're so convinced, and everyone around us is watching the movie. So it's obvious that it must be true. How could I be the only one? So we ignore waking up most of the time. We all have moments. I laid on my back on a wharf at 10 years old on a summer evening to sleep under the stars and looked at that sky and was just in awe and wonder. I wasn't labeling it. I wasn't making a story out of it. It was just happening. Experience. At 60 years old, I can go lay on that same dock under that same sky and have the exact same experience. This is the love, the beauty, the happiness doesn't age. It was the same at 10 years old as it is at 60. What ages is the story in between. That's what time is to us. Stuck in this story, struggling in this story, suffering to try and get back to looking at that starry sky and being in awe. Just loving life. And we get lost in the drama.
Because it's comfortable, it's familiar.
Yes, right. Even the pain and struggle becomes comfortable. Yeah. And it holds us in a false reality. The people say to me, don't tell me it's all in my mind. I have physical problems in my body. And I say, of course you do. Your mind expresses itself physically. Mm-hmm. Of course it does. You can worry yourself into cancer. That's a reality. It didn't come from your hand. You had to have the thinking and the meaning and the feeling to get it to your hand. I guarantee you.
Yeah. And I just want to reiterate, like Dallas said, changing like this and starting to think like this, it isn't something that I would realistically expect to be easy. So it's not easy, but it is worth it, right? It is worth it to consider what it could do for your mind. Like you said, the mind and the body are so connected that, it's not going to be easy to just disconnect something that you've believed your entire life and that's morphed into this being that's become you.
And understand the word you just used there. You have practiced believing who you are. You have done this over and over. You've watched the movie so many times, you know every word of the script. So to change, you have to see a different picture of yourself and practice it. That is the difficulty. You have to intentionally, with attention, practice eating better, going for a walk, telling people you love them. You have to practice it and make it routine in yourself until, you suddenly go, holy crap, this is great. I could have done this all that time. A friend the other day said to me, are you angry that it took your whole life to get here? And I thought about that. It's easy to regret the story you've been living in. It would be easy to be angry that you had to go through all that suffering. But I realized if I only got a half hour of this before I died, my whole life would have been worth it. If I only got a week of love and happiness and beauty, that clear, conscious understanding, everything would have been worth it. Everything. Any trial, any struggle, any tribulation from the past was worth it. That's why I say cancer was worth it. Burning my life down was worth it. And it wasn't pain. It wasn't horrible. It was beautiful because it opened the door. It allowed me to get this. I'm sure I would have been an addict until I died. I'm positive. If I didn't wake up, cancer would have killed me because it is the expression in the body of the pain I've created in my mind. And if I did not leave that mind, the story mind, I would have died. I absolutely believe that. So worth it? All the crap in life is worth it if you can escape it. If you can wake up to it and realize, wow, this is amazing. Often people, men particularly, will say to me, the greatest moment of their life, was the birth of my son or the birth of my daughter. And there's a reason that they often all have that expression, because that's a moment of being awake. That's a moment of experiencing just beauty, love, and happiness. And so it sticks in your heart somewhere because it's the real you. And then you walk out the door of the hospital and you go back to your real life, and the beauty, love, and happiness showed up. Some mornings, all of us, have woken up and just felt great for no reason. Maybe it didn't last very long. And we've also slept and woken up in the morning and felt crappy. And what was the difference? I guarantee the difference was the story was playing in your mind while you slept. Sleep was hard. You were waking up all the time. You have a crappy day. The voice is in your head. But sometimes you sleep and you don't even remember sleeping. And you wake up just feeling great. And that was escaping the story. It happens to all of us. You can practice escaping the story. You can practice and work at it and lead yourself out of that story you have believed.
Yeah.
Stop blaming.
Stop blaming.
Mm-hmm. Take blame out of your life and your life will change dramatically.
Is it necessary to have a moment of blaming yourself first?
Okay. No, it isn't. That's just a choice of words because I think language doesn't give us all the tools to explain things outside the story. That's why we'll say woo and mystic and all these kind of words, because it's very difficult to articulate being out of your story. It's like I had a bout of depression about 6 months before cancer. I believe that bout of depression was a call telling me to wake up. I think that's what depression is, because it suppresses all your feeling. And we are beings of feeling. Everything we experience, we derive a feeling from it. We are feeling creatures. And when it brings back to language is try and tell someone what depression feels like. It's almost impossible because depression is such an empty space of darkness that there almost isn't language to tell you what it really means unless you have felt it. And that is one of the problems of leaving the story. It's difficult to express to someone. And so when I use the word blame, I really mean taking responsibility for all of it. That everything that has happened was me, not you. And so when you remove the blame, you're really not blaming yourself. You're just taking the responsibility. Because when you take the responsibility, that means you own the baggage. And in that sense, you are to blame for the baggage you own. But that responsibility gives you the courage and power to put the bags down. If I blame you for my problem, I can't put my problem down because I haven't taken ownership of it. And so I have to carry my trauma because I've blamed you for it. But once I take responsibility, I now own it. Oh, I can put the bag down. It's mine to let go of. If I keep it in your ballpark and blame you for it, I don't own it. So it's not mine to put down. So I have to carry it and suffer.
No, I love it. Of course, there's so much depth to this, Dallas, and I could talk for hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we are getting close to the end, and I do want to reiterate the importance of this concept of being in touch with your body, in tune with yourself, being able to change your narrative and take control of your own thoughts. Because one of the biggest things that I remember is that it's not the experiences or the result, it's the expectation of things going a certain way, which causes the disappointment. And that speaks to what you're saying. Don't expect things to go a certain way or to have someone else do it for you. I have to take responsibility for my actions, my thoughts. And that's important. The expectation of things being a certain way is what disappoints us, not things actually being a certain way. So
it's really hard to wrap our minds around not having an expectation, period. Expect yourself or others in any way. That's hard to wrap your mind around because we think we have to expect our own behavior, expect things to happen, expect the world to be a way. Try and take expectation away because being is what you are. There's nothing to expect. You're already here. It is happening. Expectation is always this externalizing of everything. Out there, something will happen. And so we predict it. And there trouble starts. Because you can't predict it. There's no future. There's no past. There's only being right here. Every prediction is this illusion, this imagined tomorrow, or this hurtful past. They don't exist right here, right now.
And that's the moment you want to connect with. It's the here and now. You can do that through practice, mindfulness tools, apps, anything that can help you do that. On one last note, I want to say another thing I remember hearing long time ago is that when people were on their deathbeds and they were asked the question, what is the thing that you would change about your life? The most common reaction was, I wish that I would have lived the life more authentic to myself. And if that does not put into words what I feel Dallas is saying, then I don't know what does.
I say, don't be who you believe you are, be what you truly are.
I love it. So thank you again, Dallas, for coming on today. And this has been extremely rewarding to me. And I'm sure a lot of other people out there.
Be happy.
Be happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.